welcome to Coding Techniques. Today we are going to build an application on a very much important topic, which is COVID-19. In this pandemic time, I wanted to build this application where we can connect plasma donors and plasma recipients, or the needful ones who need plasma in this particular pandemic time. So they can connect both the plasma donors and recipients through this application. So this is the design based on that concept. So let's get started with the application now. So out here you can already see that I have created a new project and I'm already running Ionic Serve out here, and you can see the output is showing up out here. Alright, so this is already set up. Now if you want to create a new project, the link is out there at the top right corner. You click on that, redirecting to a video which I've already created for creating a new project. You can just learn it from there. Alright, and if you're new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel, because creating such videos takes a lot of effort, and subscribing to the channel will boost me up to make more such interesting videos. So please subscribe, and if you like the video, please hit the like button and do comment, because I always read your comments. So please do comment out there and we can have interaction in that particular manner. And if you have any other design, just let me know, I'll work on it. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with our design. So we have a home page out here. Now what I'll do is, I will not do it in this manner. I'll just have this home page within my pages folder. So I'll create a pages folder. So I'll go to the location. Now if you don't get confused with the name login screen, because I'm already using the earlier application, but I've changed all the files out here and made it just look like a new application. So you will have the same exposure only, don't worry, because I don't want to create an application again and again, and that is why I'm doing so. Alright, so out here I'm creating a pages folder and I'll move the home page within the pages folder. That's it. Now after doing that, we will face some issue, because in our app routing module, the location of the home page is not as such. It should be within pages folder and then the home page. Alright, now you can see it is still running nicely, and I'll just remove this because it is moved to some other location. And there we go, you can see the design is still showing up out here. Alright, now it's time to change the design, but before jumping into the design section, I want to apply the theming and styling in my application. So let's work with the theming part. So I'll change the theme of the application at first, and then we will move ahead with our design. So for that, I will go to the Chrome browser, and out here I'm going to go to the Ionic docs. Now in the Ionic docs, if I scroll down to the theming section, I can see the color generator out here. Out here you can see we have all the colors which are available by default in our Ionic application. Now I'm going to change few of those. Let's start with our primary color. So the primary color which I need for this application is E31007, James Bond color. Okay, that's fine, just kidding. Now the next color, the secondary color, I need it to be blackish, so I'll be using 3833334. Well, that's nice. And then the tertiary color, again the lightish red color will be nice. So for that I'll be using F7-2B-2C. That looks pretty nice. And other colors are fine. I don't want to change all of it. So now what I'll simply do is just to copy this tree color and paste it in my code. So out here in the variable.scss, what am I going to do? In the root, I'm simply going to replace these three colors with this one. Alright, let's check it out if there is any difference in our application right now. Alright, you can see that this text color has changed to the red one which we have applied. That's great. So it is working. Alright, now the next thing which I need to work is with the home page. So this is part 1. So in the part 1, we are just going to build up the home page. Let's work with the home page now. So I'll just remove the app routing and clear the variable.scss. Now out here, what I'll do, at first translucent is not needed actually. Now out here what I'll have a title called Plasma MILAAP, which is the name of the application. So MILAAP is a Hindi word, and it actually means to connect two or more people, or any kind of people you like. Alright, it's not about people, you can animals also comes into play. Alright, that's fine. So let's move to the next part. Now the title will change, and after that what we will have, now you can see the title is not showing out here, because as you can see that we have ion content to full screen, and the thing is that we have an ion header within the ion content which is actually pushing it to not to show the actual ion header. So I'll just remove everything from my ion content, and now it will come up. Alright, now you can see the design is coming up, but what I'll do out here is I'll pass a class called ion-actionsheet because I want it to center in the Android phone also. So for that I have to pass this up. Alright, now once I do that, what the next thing I need to have is ion buttons. So the first button will be on the left side, and I'll give it a slot of start for that, and I'll have ion menu button. Alright, and then on the right side I'm going to have an ion button. Fill will be clear. Alright, okay, it will be within the quotes, and then I'll pass an ion icon within that. The slot will be icon only, and the name is going to be person circle, which is for the profile. Alright, now let's check it out. Alright, it is coming up, but we cannot see the ion menu button because we do not have any menu as of now. So what I'll do is let's have this for the time being, but I'll not do anything with that right now. Now what I'll do is I'll change the color of the toolbar to the primary one. Alright, now you can see the color has changed of the toolbar, but we still do not see the ion menu button because we haven't passed any ion menu as of now, so this is not showing up right now. So what I will do for the time being, I'll simply comment it up so that you don't get confused, and also we'll pass a class to our ion header, ion no border, because I don't need any border out here. And after that is done, what I'll do, after the ion toolbar, I'm going to have an ion grid. Now what we are going to create, I'll just show you up. We are going to create this part, the stats part. Alright, I'll not cover up the line chart right now because this will take another video for me, so I'll just do it in another video. But for the time being, I'm going to show you this chart. How do we create this design? So let's do it. Now out here, what am I going to do? Within the ion grid, I'm going to have an ion row. So why I'm creating this ion grid is because I need to have this background, right? I need to pass this background in the ion grid, and within that I'm going to have this ion list. So let's do it. So after the ion grid, I'm going to have an ion list. We'll work on the designing in some time. Now in the ion list, I'm going to pass a class called popover because it is going to pop over on the ion grid, and that is why I'm calling it a class popover. Alright, and there will be no lines, so lines equals to none, and within that we are going to have a lot of things, but actually I'll be having an ion row. Now why I'm using ion list out here is because if you see this popover, now it is overlaying on top of ion grid. Now if I give ion grid out there, what will happen is it will not pop over on top of it. Instead of that, it will just get below that. So that is the problem which I faced earlier also, and that is why I'm not using ion grid out here. Instead of that, I'm using ion list because it gets popover. Alright, now within that I'll have an ion row, and let's have some items out there at first, and then I'm going to design it up. So now within the ion row, I'm going to have an ion column of size 6. Now within the ion column, at first let me pass a class of ion text setter because I want all the things to be centered up within that. Alright, now within the ion column, I'm going to pass an ion item. And within the ion item, what am I going to do? I'll pass an ion label. And within the ion label, I'm going to pass an H1 tag. Within the H1, let me just have some text out here, 291. See the design right now. Now if I just save this up, you will see the design out here. Alright, this is showing up, but it's time to design it up a bit more so that we can have the proper thing that we are looking for. And for that, what I'll do, I'll remove all of the design which was there earlier, and I'll start with the ion header. So within the ion header, what am I going to have? I'll work with the ion grid. Within the ion grid, I'm going to pass background to be of color. I'll pass the variable ion color primary. This is how we can define the primary color or any other color which is in our variables.scss directly out here, and we don't have to pass any other color out here. We can use it dynamically. Alright, now let's check it out. Alright, so this is coming up. Alright, we can see ion grid background is showing up out here. Now what I'll do, I'll just give it a margin top of say -5 pixel so that it can move a little bit upward, and I'll also pass a border radius of 0 0 5 pixel to the bottom left and bottom right, and on the top side I don't need anything. Alright, so it has moved up. That's looking great. I have a border radius also right now. Now let's work on the other things, which is the popover class. So dot popover, I'll pass a background to this of variable dash dash ion color light for the time being. Now you can see this color is showing up, the light color, and we can see this ion item color is white. So this is visible right now. Alright, that's working. Everything is working fine as of now. Now what I'll do, I'll have something called margin bottom, and I'll pass minus 120 pixel to my ion grid. Sorry, it will be 120 pixel only, not minus 120 pixel. By mistake I did that. Alright, this is showing up. That's great. And the border radius also we can see out here. Now in the popover, what all things do we need? I need border radius to be 10 pixel. I need to change the width to 90%. Margin will be auto so that it can take the auto margin on the left and right side. And then I'll work on the ion item, where on the ion label, let me have no margin because by default it has some margin which I don't want. And to the H1 tag, I'll pass the font size to be 1.8 rem. I think that will be good. Let's check it out. Alright, this is looking good. Now we want to make this text bold. So for that, either I can give it font weight to be bold, but I have another method. Either I can pass B tag or I can pass a strong tag. So I'll use B tag for the out here. And after that, I need to have an ion text to which I'll pass a class of ion margin start, and the color of it will be primary. Alright, and what am I going to pass out here? Minus 12% because there is a decline in the percentage of available donors, which is showing up out here. Alright, now the next thing that I'm going to do is to have a P tag. And what do we have out here? I'll pass donors, which reflects that how many donors are available and what is the percentage incline or decline in that. So we have a decline in the number of donors, which can be good or bad, because if the donors has reduced, then we have less plasma donors available, which is not a good idea. But it can be on a positive note. If I see that, then it's good also, because if the number of donors is less, that means the rate of COVID patients is also reducing. So that can also be assumed. Anyways, let's jump ahead and work with our P tag design. So what am I going to have in my P tag? Well, I'll pass a margin top at first of say 3 pixel, and then I'm going to pass the font size. I want it to be little, say like 0.8 rem will be good. And then I'm going to work on the ion text also, because I want to change the design for that also. I just want the font size to be little smaller than the one which I am passing in the P tag. So let's give it 0.7 rem. Let's check it out. There you go, it is coming up, and I'm very much happy with the design. Now the next thing that I need to do is to have another ion column, and there we will have, let me just copy this up, and then we will have some other things also out here, little vice versa stuff maybe. Now in the ion label, I'm going to pass the class ion text wrap, because if something goes out of it, then you can just wrap it up. If needed, you can just use it. Alright, similarly out here also I'll pass the same class to my ion label, and also I'm going to pass another class out here, ion text right, which is what I'm going to do. And now the text I'm going to have out here, the number will be 481, and I'll move it a bit down because I want the ion text to be shown at the start or before that, and it will be plus 49%, which shows that there is an increase in the number of requests. So the request is increasing, that means the number of patients are increasing, which is also not a good deal. Anyways, so this is the thing that I wanted to do, and this will be ion's margin end. Alright, this is also coming up. Now if I remove this class, then will there be any effect in this? Let's just check it out. Alright, I don't see any effect, or is there any effect? Maybe, might be. Let's remove it out here also. I don't see any effect, maybe. Alright, that's fine. So this is removed. Now I need to change the background color to some customized color. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the color section, and out here if I scroll down, there is an option of creating a new color. I'll call it white, and it will be FFF. This is the color which I need. I'll simply copy this up, open my variable.scss, and out here in the root, after the light color, I'm going to paste it. Now in order to use this up, what I need to do, I need to copy this class, and either I can paste it after the root out here, or what I can do is in my global.scss I can have it out here, which is actually a good method of doing this, or we can have another file for that and we can import it out here. That is also one of the best ways of doing it. So anyways, you can do it either ways. Alright, now we can use this white color out here. So what I'll do, in the SCSS to my popover, I'm going to pass this white color. Alright, now you can see the color has changed. That's great. Now another thing I will do out here is, now the next thing I'll do is I'll pass a margin top out here of -120 pixels to my popover, and then only it's going to pop over on top of it. There we go. You can see out here it is getting pop over on that. Alright, now after this iron column, let me just pass another iron column of size 12 where I'm going to pass the line chart. So as you can see, this is not filling up the space right now. If we have the line chart, then this space will be filled up. Alright, for the time being, let it be in this way. Okay, and if you want it to be down, then you can change the padding and margin. Alright, I'm okay with this. So now the next thing that I'm going to work with is the iron segment. So after this iron grid or the iron list, I'll have a div where I'm going to pass a class iron padding. And if you have already seen my food delivery app design, then you already know that how to create an iron segment. I'm going to use the same thing out here. Alright, you can just go to that particular video and check it out if you need. And I'm going to pass an iron change event. I'll call a function segment changed, where I'm going to pass the event. Alright, now let's create this function, and for that I'll go to the TypeScript and I'll paste it out here and I'll console it up. Alright, now why this event is used, because whenever I'm changing the segment, it will be shown. Now you might be confused that where is the segment, so I'll create it just now, so don't get confused. So in the iron segment, I'll pass a mode of iOS because I want the iOS design, and I'll have a value out here which will be passed dynamically, segment value, which I'm going to create right now, this property in my TypeScript. Well, out here this will be created and the value of it will be 1 by default. After this is done, in the iron segment, I'm going to have iron segment button. Alright, you can see in the suggestion also it is coming up, and the value of it will be 1. Within that I'm going to have an iron label which will be request at first, and then I'll copy this up, paste it one more time, change the value to 2, and the text will be donors. Alright, now once this is changed, let's check it out how it looks like. Alright, so this is coming up. Now we need to design it up a bit more. So I'll go to the home.scss, and out there what am I going to do? Well, after this popover, I will have a div. Within that I'm going to work on the iron segment, but before that I'll pass a background to this. I'll pass the white color. Alright, and after that, sorry, it won't be white color, it will be light color. I want the color to be light, and along with that I want the iron header color to also be light color. So I'll simply copy this up and paste it in my iron header also, because I want all the background to be light color. Alright, and after that within the div I'm going to work with the iron segment, where I'm going to pass border, and this is the predefined property, that is why I'm giving dash background. I'll pass variable dash iron color white. Alright, I'll also pass border radius out here to be 20 pixels, and margin top dash margin top, which is a predefined property, to be 5 pixels. Similarly, margin bottom also to be 5 pixel. What else do I need to work with is the iron segment button, where I'm going to pass the background checked. I'll pass the color to be the primary one. So once the one which is selected will be of color primary, and then I'm going to work with the dash indicator color which will be also primary. Then I'm going to work with the border radius also 20 pixels. I'll also pass the color to be primary and also the color checked to be white. Now the explanation about this I have already given in the food delivery application. You can check it out there. Alright, you can see the color checked, the one which is checked, the color of the text is changed to white, which I've given out here, and the design is changed fully nicely. Now the background checked, how it is differing. If I click on this, just focus on the effect which it will show up right now. Just see the effect. It is looking like a 3D effect, and which is pretty good actually. So that is what I wanted, and I'm getting there, so that's fine. Now we have designed our ion segment nicely. Now it's time to work with the other stuff, so let's do that. Now I'll work with the ion content. So in the ion content, what all things do I need? Well, I have everything out here, so I don't need to work with anything else. Alright, these 3 files only I need to work with in this particular video. So in the ion content, what am I going to do? Out here, let me first work with the ion content, passing dash dash background to be of color light. Like I said earlier, I want all the background to be light color, and then I'm going to work with the ion content. So in the ion content, what I will have an ion list where the lines will be none, and then we will have an ion item within that. The color for that, I'll pass it as light color. And what am I going to build right now is basically I'm just working on this part. Alright, and once this is done, we will work with the main ion item list. So let's do it. So out here in the ion item, basically this is like an ion list header. So this is how I design it up. So I'll have an ion label where I'll pass a class of heading which I'll define. So I'll write plasma, and well, based on the value of the segment change, if it is 1, then I'm going to pass a string request. Otherwise, I'll pass donors. So this is a ternary operator which I'm using out here. I think you know about it. If you do not know, just I've already explained. It's like if you have to pass question mark. Now if the condition is true, then this value will be called or it will be passed. Otherwise this value will be passed. So that is how it's similar to true if else condition, and this is how you pass it out here. So that's fine. Now once this is done, well, we need to see the value also out in our TypeScript. If the value is changing out here, then what I'll do, I'll simply change the value of the segment value property to be the one which is passed in the event.detail.value. And if you want to see the value of it, I'll just show you right now. Now you can see this text, by default it is request right now. Now what I'll do, I'll click on donors, and you can see this event is called, and within that we have a detail, then value is 2, and you can see the text out here is changed. Alright, so this is working. That's great. Now let's go back to our HTML right now, and then I'm going to work with the ion button out here. So in the ion item, I'll pass ion button. The slot will be end, fill will be clear because I don't want any border, and the size of this will be small. Within that I'm going to have an ion icon. The slot will be icon only, and the name will be options. If you want to change the ion icons, you can go to ionicons.com and you will get it out there. Alright, so this is the design. Now why we are using this up? So the plasma donors near you or the plasma request near you, it will show up out here in a list of items. And if you want to filter it up via blood group, via the location, then you can do that up in the filters. I'll not show the filters out here. I'll not create the filters. That's up to you guys. You can just create it up as you like. Alright, so these two things you can have it at least in your filters, which I've already told you. One is the location, which you can pass via Google Maps or something, which however you like, and the next one is the blood group. You can also have the age also if you like. So whatever you think you want, you can just do it out there. Alright, now let's move ahead and work with our main item group. So I'll pass ion item group because I want a group of items out here. So within this group I am going to have a list of ion items. So I'll work with the ion item out here. We'll pass a class of ion padding vertical because I want little spacing at the top and bottom, and I'll also pass another class called pop item which I am going to work with. Then I will have an ng4 out here. So I'll just loop it up and let item off. So we'll have an array of items. Now if the segment value is 1, if you're having trouble in looking at this, I'll just break it down a bit so that you can look at it very nicely. So if the value is 1, then I'm going to pass a property called request. Otherwise, I'm going to pass another property called donors. Let's create this thing. So in my TypeScript, I'm going to create request of type any array, which will be initialized to an empty array, and also donors, which will be of type same as empty array. Alright, done. Now I need to access the ng on it. For that I have to inherit the interface. For that I'll be using implements on init. Alright, this is done, and out here I can directly use ng on init. In here I'm going to declare the values for these two arrays. So I already have these values and I'm going to paste it out here. You can get it from my code, and I just have to change this to this dot donors and this dot request. Alright, so the values are already declared out here. Now if you want these values, you can just get it from my source code and just copy it from there and paste it in your code. Alright, and you will get the same thing out here. So I have 7 records in the donors and 6 records in the request. Alright, that's great. Now let's work on the list. So out here in the ion item, what all things do I need to have? So we need to design this first, and then the ion label, and then we will have the user photo. So let's work on that. So in the ion item, at first I'll work with the ion thumbnail. Slot will be start. Within that, I'm going to pass a div, to which I'll pass a class ion text center. So all the text will be centered up nicely, and this will occur only if segment value equals to 1. Remember that. Now within this div, I'm going to have an ion text, to which I'll pass a color of white, and I'll call it urgent. Alright, and after the div, I'm going to work with the p tag. Same class will be ion text center, and within that I'm going to work with the ion text, color of which will be white, and the text will be item blood group. This is how we use the data from that particular JSON object. Alright, so out here the request, this data will be called, and we have the blood group out here. Where is it? So this is the blood group which we are using. This is the property which we are using out here. Alright, so I hope you get it. Alright, still not showing up anything out here because we have given the color as white everywhere. Alright, so that's fine. Now let's work on the design of it. So I'll go to the SCSS, and out here what am I going to do? I'm going to start with the ion list, where I'll pass a background of light color. Now within that, I'm going to work with the heading class, which we have already done, declared. I'll pass the font family to be Leto, which is a good design actually, and then we are going to work with the pop item class, where I'm going to pass the width to be 90%, margin to be auto, and then margin bottom. Just remember, margin bottom, if I give it at the top of above the margin auto, then it will not get affected, because margin auto will be called after the margin bottom, so it will take automatically the appropriate size. You need to pass it after the auto if you're using that. Alright, just a small tip that I've given you. Alright, then we'll have border radius of 10, with padding to be 0 if any. Then I'll work with the ion thumbnail, and out there we need to work with a lot of designing. So mean width, let's give it 5 rem, and mean height, let's give it a bit more. Let's say 6 rem will be fine. Then border radius to be 10 pixels, and I also want to pass a background to it of the dark color, which is the secondary color. So dash dash ion color secondary in this manner. Alright, you can see this is coming up, the item is showing up. That's great. We need to show the items also within that, so the background will change it. That's great, it is showing up. Now we need to work with this div. We need to show the primary color. So I'll work with the div within the ion thumbnail, pass a background color to it of primary, and then border radius 10 pixels, 0, 0. I'll also pass padding bottom to be 2 pixels. I need little padding at the bottom, and also I will work on the ion text also. I'll pass the font size to be 0.7 rem and font weight to be bold. So a lot of styling. Let's check it out how it looks like. And after this we are going to work with the P tag. Alright, this is coming up. Now let's work with the P tag and work with this design right now. So in the P tag, what am I going to do? I'm going to work with the ion text. I'll pass the font size to be 1.1 rem and letter spacing. I want to pass the font size to be 2.5 rem. Let's check it out and let me make it important. Alright, so this is coming up. That's great. Now I want styling to be done out here, which will differ for this one and this one. So let's do it. So for that, what I'll do, let's go to our HTML, and out here, what am I going to do with the P tag? I'm going to pass styling out here dynamically. So style dot margin, I'll pass it out here. So if segment equals to 1, then what am I going to do? I'm going to pass the value as 10 pixels to the top and bottom, and to the left and right I don't need any. Similarly, if it is for the donors, then 20 pixels, and left and right nothing. Alright, let's check it out. Now it's looking very nice. Out here also it's looking pretty nice. Alright, that's fine. So this is working. What is the next thing that we need to work with is the ion label. So after the ion thumbnail, I'm going to work with the ion label. Within the ion label, I'm going to have an ion note where I'll pass the color to be dark and a B tag within that, which will read the name. So item (name). Question mark is basically for passing the optional property, because if it does not exist, still it will not show any error, which I have mentioned a lot many times in my previous videos. So to the P tag, always pass ion text wrap, because P tag can be a bigger one. If you think so, then only you pass, otherwise don't pass. Address I'm going to pass out here. Then I'll have another P tag. Within that I'm going to pass ion text, to which I'll pass a color of dark, and which will have which will have the age. Alright, now what I'll do is simply copy it and paste it. So I pasted 2 more times, and out here in the second one I'm going to have the gender. The third one I'll have the distance. Alright, and before that I'll also have a span, because we need to show this pointer or divider between all of it. So within the span, what I'm going to have, %# 9679 and semicolon. Alright, let's copy the same out here also. And out here, what am I going to do in the distance? Let's just check it out first. So basically this is showing you the gender, and this will be the distance, which shows that how far are you from that particular person's location who is accessing this application. Alright, this is coming up. Now we need to design it up a bit, but before that I will work with the ion fab button also, and then I'm going to work with all of it all together. So in the ion fab, I'm going to pass vertical to top and then horizontal to end. Alright, within that I'll have an image, src dynamic way input attribute. I'm going to pass the value which I've already passed in the JSON array. So this is what I'm going to do. Alright, that's it. So now you can see these values are already defined out here. Alright, and these images are available in my assets folder. Within the imgs folder, I already have these 4 images, so you can check it out here. Alright, it is showing up, so that's fine. Now one mistake I have done, this will be passed within an ion fab button. So within the ion fab button I'm going to pass this, and to the ion fab button I'm going to pass size to be small and color to be white. Now let's check it out. Now you can see this is nicely coming up. Now the last thing that I need to work in the HTML is this kilometer. So if the distance is equals to 1, then what am I going to do? I'm going to pass this distance. I'll just remove this question mark, or you can just give it also, doesn't matter, plus a string called km. Alright, otherwise I'll pass the same thing with an s. So it is basically determining that if it is say like 1 kilometer, so I just want to pass kilometer km, and if it is greater than that or anything else, then I'm going to pass kms. That's it. Alright, so this is coming up. That's great. Now after the ion thumbnail, I'm going to work with the the ion label. So in the ion label I have ion note, where I'm going to pass the font size to be 1.1 rem and letter spacing to be 0.5 pixels. Then with the p tag, what am I going to have? Margin top to be 5 pixels, and going to work with the ion text. Within that, I'm going to work with the span. We'll pass a color to it of dark and padding to be 0 at the top and bottom and 5 pixels to the left and right. Now you can see this design is coming up. Alright, it is looking pretty nice. Now I need to work with the ion fab button. Sorry, ion fab actually. And out here I'm going to pass margin right to be minus 15 pixels and make it important. Margin top to be minus 10 pixels. Alright, because I want to move it little bit upward and on the right side. That is why I'm doing this step. Alright, once I've done that, you can see this design is coming up and it is looking pretty great. And everything looks okay. Let's just match with this one. So it is almost the same. Only one thing is left is this ion fab button. Let's work on that also. So let's go to our ion content, and out here I'm going to work with the ion fab button. Vertical bottom, vertically it will be bottom positioning, and on the horizontal side it will be at the end portion. Slot will be fixed so that it will not move when we are scrolling the content. And out there I'm going to pass ion fab button. Within that I'll have an ion icon. The name of it will be add. That's it. Let's check it out. So everything looks fine. Everything is working as expected. Alright, now you can see this design also changed and we are able to scroll also. Alright, similarly out here also we are able to scroll and the data is changing. So everything looks fine. Even we have this button, still we haven't given any functionality out here and we won't work with that also. But out here we have this button and it's looking pretty nice. So we have achieved all the portions which are available out here except this line chart and the shrinking header. We will work with that in the coming videos. I'll show you how to create this line chart and how to make this shrinking header work. Alright, so this is it for this lecture. We have successfully designed this up, and with this I'll wrap up this video. I hope you like the video. So this is something new which I have tried. So if you guys like the video, just click on the like button and do subscribe to the channel, please guys, because making these videos takes a lot of efforts. And if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button and do comment whether you liked it or not. It's very important for me. So I'll catch you guys in the next video, which will be coming up very shortly. So stay tuned to the channel. Thank you very much.